Nokia's story is nothing short of a corporate drama, with one man sinking the ship and another saving it from the abyss. At its peak, Nokia dominated the mobile industry, amassing billions. Then came the fall, a near-death experience. Yet today, Nokia stands tall again, albeit in a completely different avatar. So how did this comeback happen? In 2008, Nokia's annual revenue crossed a staggering $76 billion, and it owned a lion's share of the mobile phone market. Think about it. In just over a decade, Nokia's revenue grew tenfold, from $7.5 billion in 1996 to its peak. From its sturdy brick phones to the iconic Nokia 3310, this Finnish company became a household name. You'd drop it, it wouldn't break. You'd charge it once, and it would last for days. But Nokia's durability, once its biggest selling point, soon became its Achilles heel. Let's rewind to 2007, when a seismic event shook the mobile world. Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone. With its sleek touchscreen design and innovative interface, the iPhone wasn't just a phone, it was a game changer. Consumers went from wanting a robust, reliable phone to demanding something that felt like magic in their hands. Anyways, Nokia watched and mocked. Their engineers dismissed the iPhone as expensive to manufacture and incapable of passing Nokia's infamous drop test. But here's the problem. The market wasn't listening to Nokia anymore. Smartphones were the future, and Nokia was late to the party. Did you know? When Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone, he famously said, "Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone." Reinvent it they did, while Nokia was still busy perfecting their drop tests. You see, by 2008, it wasn't just Apple in the game. HTC and Google launched the T-Mobile G1, the first phone powered by Android. This was a major signal. The era of smart ecosystems had begun. Apps, hardware, software, and developer networks were now the building blocks of success. But what did Nokia do? The Nokia N97, their self-proclaimed iPhone killer. It had an impressive feature set. Just on paper, it had a 5-megapixel camera, a slide-out keyboard, twice the storage of the iPhone, GPS, and yes, a touchscreen. Sounds promising, right? Except the N97 was clunky, its screen unresponsive, and its operating system, Symbian, was a total mess. Developers hated it. To put things into perspective, the Apple App Store had over 100,000 apps at the time. Nokia's Ovi Store, a mere 500. The N97 failed spectacularly, and Nokia was now facing a full-blown crisis. However, Stephen Elop in 2010, Nokia's newly appointed CEO, famously dubbed the change agent. Elop's track record at Microsoft was stellar. He led the development of Microsoft Office and spearheaded its move to the cloud. But Elop didn't come to Nokia to play it safe. He came to shake things up. On his very first day, he delivered the now infamous burning platform speech to Nokia's employees. The setting was dramatic. There were security guards at every door, a makeshift stage in the lobby, and a strict no recording policy. Elop didn't sugarcoat things. He declared, "Nokia, our platform is burning." He emphasized that Apple and Android had changed the game and that Nokia's beloved Symbian was no longer competitive. His most striking statement? "The battle of devices has now become a war of ecosystems." While the speech was intended to rally the troops, it backfired spectacularly. It leaked to the public, damaging Nokia's brand, crashing its sales, and scaring off shareholders, leading to the share price dropping by nearly 14%. But for Elop, this crisis wasn't a bug, it was a feature. Why? Because he needed to convince Nokia's board to make a bold move. And he did! Faced with the failing Symbian platform, Nokia had two options. Option 1, to adopt Android, the rising star and natural competitor to Apple's iOS, or Option 2, to partner with Microsoft and adopt the Windows Phone OS. Elop, with his ties to Microsoft, pushed for the latter. The decision was controversial and, in hindsight, disastrous. In 2011, Nokia unveiled its new strategy, Symbian would be phased out in favor of Windows. Nokia and Microsoft forged a strategic partnership, with Nokia developing hardware and Microsoft providing billions in funding. But the marriage was doomed from the start. The first products of this union, the Lumia 800 and Lumia 710, were riddled with issues. There was a clunky interface that felt unnatural to users. They used single-core processors when competitors had moved to quad-core. There was limited storage and no front-facing cameras, and it was a pitiful app ecosystem. Did you know? Between 2011 and 2014, Nokia sold 52 million Lumia phones. Sounds decent until you compare it to Samsung, which sold the same number in just 2 months. However, in a move that felt more like betrayal than leadership, Elop returned to Microsoft in 2014, taking most of Nokia's mobile division with him. Microsoft acquired Nokia's devices and services business for $7.2 billion. This partnership was a disaster for both companies. By 2016, Microsoft wrote off the entire division, selling it for a mere $350 million. Elop was laid off, and his bold strategy left both Nokia and Microsoft reeling. Let me tell you here, by the time Elop left Nokia in 2014, its market share had plummeted from 33% to less than 3%. But Nokia wasn't done yet. While Nokia's mobile division burned under Elop, another part of the company quietly thrived: Nokia Solutions and Networks, NSN. Under the leadership of Rajeev Suri, NSN transformed from an unprofitable division to a stable, profitable cornerstone. In 2014, Suri became Nokia's CEO. His strategy? Pivot to a completely different market: telecommunications infrastructure. We are well placed to lead in the technologies for a world where everybody and everything is connected, Suri declared. His first move was to stabilize Nokia's finances. Using the proceeds from the Microsoft deal, Suri initiated a massive share buyback program to rebuild shareholder trust. Then he made a bold acquisition. Nokia bought Alcatel-Lucent for $16.6 billion, gaining access to the legendary Bell Labs and its 29,000 patents. Not stopping here, Suri bet big on the 5G technology, ensuring Nokia wouldn't repeat its mistakes in the smartphone race. By 2020, Nokia had secured 100 commercial 5G agreements, working with giants like Atant and Vodafone. But the real game changer came in 2018 with the launch of ReefShark, a breakthrough 5G chip that was 50% smaller and consumed 64% less power than previous models, delivering the bandwidth of up to 84 Gbps. By 2024, Nokia had secured over 300 commercial 5G agreements, claiming 29% of the global 5G market outside China and supporting over 6.4 billion subscriptions through its customers. Finally, Nokia's pivot was complete, from selling phones to selling network solutions. Its revenue, which had fallen to $6 billion during the Elop years, rebounded to over $20 billion by 2022. While it's worth about a tenth of its peak market cap, Nokia now has something far more valuable: stability. The story of Nokia is a tale of two CEOs: Stephen Elop, whose bold gambles led to Nokia's downfall, and Rajeev Suri, whose steady leadership brought it back from the brink. Nokia's journey proves that even in the face of failure, reinvention is always possible. And as of today, Nokia isn't just alive, it's thriving. Sometimes survival isn't about winning the race, it's about choosing a new track.